What's up, Ksapp? Yeah. James Ford, that's me. Let me talk to him. Let's get it.
I'm simply ball dropping. Simply ball dropping. Chopping up these topics, man. I'm simply ball dropping. Driving coast to coast, making moves, ain't stopping. Driving coast to coast, making moves, ain't stopping. Nah.
Hey, let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. Cause my bro Ksapp chopping up topics for your optics. From politics to your top picks. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio stereo. Pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic. Man, I got something to say.
And now, your host of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, the man behind the mic, Ksapp.
Yo, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm glad that you guys are tuning in and you're in for a great show. First off, I want to thank everybody that's been, tuning into the shows. We really appreciate it. And this is going to be another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Marriage Chronicles. And everybody's been asking about the man behind the mic and his love story on how he met this beautiful young lady over here. She's riding shotgun again, but this time she's not riding shotgun. She is a full participant in this episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Marriage Chronicles. So first of all, everybody knows me. My name is Kareem. Government name, Kareem Sappington. I'm introducing myself, also known as Ksapp, the man behind the mic. And I got my wife beside me, Miss Ksapp Sappington, and I'll let her do her own introduction.
Sure. Everybody knows me. I'm Ksapp Sappington. Ksapp Sappington, now known as Ksapp squared by some people. So since we both have the same initial, I'm Ksapp but squared.
And there you have it. So we've been doing this show for pretty much probably about a month now, and we've been getting a lot of reviews, and everybody's been reaching out to me, asking, hey, we want to hear your love story. So why not give it to you live and indirect here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast? But before we get started, we all know it's Valentine's Day. So we're going to give a great toast to start off this Valentine's Day. Cheers to everybody out there in their Valentines. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna get the show started. For people that don't know, I was in the military. We're gonna take a journey. We're gonna take it back. So ride with me. We're gonna go all the way back into the early 90s when I got out of school, went off into the military, served my time in the military, and I did my time. I served for the country, and as you're young, you get into go off and do things on your own, and you branch out and explore the world, and you make a living for yourself. So when I went into the military, I did my time. I had fun. Things happen as a kid. You out there, you meet women, and things just take off, and other things come about. So for all you guys that don't know, when I was in the military, I had a child. So, once I had a child, perspective on life, man, you're raising a child, and things are starting to look up for you. And unfortunately, some things happened to me while I was in the military. In 93, July 12th, 1993, unfortunately, I was shot, taking a buddy of mine home. I got shot in the neck. Was in the hospital. So that kind of shortened my military time. And if I wouldn't have got shot, I always tell my wife, I probably would have stayed in the military. But if I didn't get shot, I probably wouldn't have met her. So it's kind of crazy how, things happen and leads up to where we are today. So when I got shot, was in the hospital. I was on, little limited duty, couldn't do nothing. So that shortened my time in the military. So once I got out of the military, I decided to, go back home. So I go back home, just chilling. And, being away from my daughter, it was like, okay, I can do this. But then, her and her mother, they decided to move down to Maryland and spend some time. And spent some time with my daughter. Things didn't work out. They moved to Texas. So I wasn't doing nothing, just working, jobs. I worked at the Holiday Inn. I worked 2 jobs. Shout out to Megan and Vaughn. When I was working, when I had my daughter, they would always come up and babysit, which Vaughn is, my daughter's godfather. So I just, thought, I wasn't doing nothing, just hanging out, hanging with childhood friends, and, things just came about. So, being out there, I was in the world. So I said, man, I'm on my own. I left the house, never thought about going back. So when I was at home, I had my own apartment, and my sister and her husband, they came up there and spent a lot of time. So once my daughter moved to Texas, I said to myself, I was going to go down and visit. So 1998. Let's take it to 98. So 1998, I decided to, go to Texas. First time being in Texas, I, watch a lot of football, watch Monday night games, and you see the Cowboys on, you see the, the backdrop with the big ball and the buildings lit up. Never knew nothing about it. So I decided to go to Texas to visit my daughter. So when I got down here to Texas in 1998, I just thought I was going to visit. And I came down with, and if Jason Swine's, listening, he'll tell you, I came down here with my ditty bag from the military, just a handful of clothes. I probably had about $2 or $3, you know what I'm saying? And I just happened to, venture off down here just to visit, you know what I'm saying? I shout out to my father, I gave him a call, and, he wired me some money, Western Union, and just to, keep me abreast, for the little short time that I was going to be down here. And I said, okay. So I got some money from my father to hold me over. But little to be known, I never went back home. It's kind of crazy. Everybody, my mother and father was calling me. It was like, man, you coming back home? I don't know. So at that time, I didn't have nowhere to stay. I was staying at the, what was it? I think it was the Motel 6 off of 635 in Josie Lane. For all the Dallas people that are tuned in, they know what I'm talking about. I think that Motel 6 is still over there. So once I, got my feet wet, my daughter's mother, she really helped me out in this time, because the apartment complex that I end up staying at, her and her mother stayed at that apartment complex. And she had, I think she had a connection down in the rental office. So when I got down, here, didn't have a place to stay, she helped me out. She went down to the rental office and told them about me. And, I got my first apartment. And the crazy thing about it is she was working at a job, Monotronics International. She had to hook up with the supervisor. She reached out to a supervisor and she got me a job. So I was working the night shift. Started May 12th of 98. That's when I got my first apartment. In June, I got my first job. So now I wasn't going back home then. I said, okay, Texas is where I'm going to be at. I'm out here spending time with my daughter, just chilling, got my own apartment. And it's crazy. The apartment that I stayed in at the time, I think Kanisha was staying in that same apartment complex. We might have crossed paths, but we never saw each other. I stayed on one end. She stayed on the other end. But her friend, was staying right in the building beside me. So I knew about her friend before I knew her. And, we'll get to it about her friend, because I knew her friend before I even knew her, and I didn't even know they was best friends. So, I get a job. I'm chilling in 98. I'm just chilling, man. I'm new to the city, met a lot of people, hanging out, going places, going clubs, meeting females and stuff. Nothing serious, had, a few that I used to talk to that, used to come over sometimes, but nothing serious. So I was like, man, I got to do something better. So, my job at Monitronics, working the night shift, man, met a lot of folks, man. Met a lot of people in the apartment complex that I stayed in, Fair Oaks Crossing. We call it FOC. Got a lot of partners, man, that was rocking with me, man. And every time we talk now, we refer to each other as FOC. So when we refer to people as FOC, that we know it's from Fair Oaks Crossing. So in 98, met a good friend of mine, man, Mr. Rod Elder, man. He's, if he's looking in, man, shout out to Rod, man. Rod, that was my ride or die right there, man. We held each other down, man, and he showed me the ropes and everything, man. And when I couldn't get somewhere, at the time I didn't have a car, he was helping me out, man, until I got on my feet to get myself a vehicle and things like that. So it's kind of crazy. So we working, I'm working, just trying to figure it out. And then at that time, me and Rod was talking. We was like, man, we stay in the same complex, man. He was about to move, and we decided to, be roommates. So we went across the freeway and got ourselves a townhome. So that leads into 99 is when we started, after I left Monitronics, man, looking for another job. And we both applied at CompUSA, and we both got the job. So we get to the job, new folks in, and, we just talking. We seen the women coming in and out. And, we, as men, man, we trying to, politic and see what's new that's coming in. Didn't see nothing. So one day, a new training class comes in, and it's a bunch of young ladies. And I was training this young lady, and I was walking, and the hallway was wide open, because it was a new call center. They was putting some, new desks in, so it was wide open. So a new training class comes in, and the girl that I was training was talking to this young lady that was in the new training class that was coming in. And she was just talking to her, and I was asking this girl, I was like, Felicia, who's this chick right here? And she told me who she was, and she was just conversating. So at the end of the conversation, she was like, girl, I'll just call you. I said, no, I'll call you. So it was kind of funny. So that's where we met at a job. And, I used to walk around to see where she sat at, and finally found out where she sat at. We go in the break room, and guys would talk, was like, man, that new training class, this one certain girl. And I was telling them, I said, man, I'm going to get that, man. And I said, one day I'm going to make her my wife. Everybody thought I was joking. So, I don't know how this all came about, but I'm just strolling. I get her number. So I go home and I call her. No, I think she called. Did you call me? I think.
I'm not sure.
I think you called me because I had one of them AT&T phones that had the caller ID and your number popped up.
I may have.
And when she called, well, I gave her my number. We exchanged numbers. And at that time, I don't know what her situation was. And I'll let her tell her what her situation was. And then I'll get back off into the story.
Yeah. So the way Kareem told the story is pretty much right. But the only difference is we were leaving work when this happened. We were all walking out. And then I think it was Felicia. Felicia and I were walking out, and then Kareem was standing outside, and I knew he was, trying to say something, and I was real quiet back then. I mean, I'm still pretty quiet, but I was real quiet back then, and I didn't say too much. I went to work, and then I came home, and that was it. And so Felicia was saying, yeah, that guy right there, his name's Kareem, girl. I think he like you, he digging you. And I'm like, nope. I was like, I ain't talking to nobody at work. Ain't gonna happen. And so whatever Kareem just said happened. So during this time, I was in a relationship. I was in, it was rocky at the time because the guy was very controlling. So I wasn't all the way in like I knew I should have been. But I think when we finally talked on the phone that night is when everything came out. And I think our phone conversation had to have been at least 4 to 5 hours.
4 to 5 hours straight.
4 to 5 hours. I mean, we talked about everything. We at that time figured out, you know, how many kids we each had. I mean, what our colors were. I mean, we learned almost everything about each other in that 4 to 5 hours. I had never stayed on the phone that long in my life. I was like, what in the world were we talking about? But yeah, that was the situation I was in. And then we talked on the phone, and then from there, it just kind of, you know,
it kind of took off from there, and it's kind of funny. And when I first told her, I don't think she, you know, believed me. I said, I'm gonna make you my wife. I don't think she believed me when I said that. And when I said that, I was like, man, I was being real because, you know, like I said, being in the military, out there on your own, you're experiencing things, you know, you get in relationships, things don't work, you move on, and you out there doing stuff that you know you're not supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, once I got here, it's like when I met her, she like grounded me, like everything came to a halt. Everything that I was doing, it just stopped. And my main focus was on her because I didn't want to blow my opportunity. I know at the time, I didn't know she was in a relationship until we was on that phone conversation, and she told me little bits and pieces of it, but I didn't know the full story. But, you know, me being a, you know, the man that I am, you know, I'm not going to,
he didn't care.
I really didn't care at that time because,
that
exactly, because I was focused in, I was honed in on what I wanted. And I just, you know, I didn't want to, you know, give up this opportunity. So, like I said, our first initial conversation was for a long time, and we talked about everything. It just was like crazy because I never felt that way. And at this time, man, I was over 21. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I wanted, but because I experienced a lot.
How old were you then?
I think I was 23 or 24.
I was 21.
He was 21. I was, I'm 5 years, 26. 26,
yeah.
About 20. I was about 26. Yeah. So I experienced a lot. I was doing a lot. So I was like, when I met her, she grounded me. So it's funny that I say that because for everybody that's in the Dallas area, they know this place is called the Filling Station. The Filling Station was a hangout on Friday nights. And then there was a particular club, Park Avenue. You know, shout out to my man, you know, Hurt, you know, from FOC, man. We got him into the club business. He was the bouncer at all these clubs. So everywhere I went, you know, I got in free. You know, Hurt took care of us. He took care of the crew. And it's kind of funny that, you know, Hurt was security, man. He said, man, y'all come on up. Come up to the club. So on Friday night, so at the job, when everybody started meeting each other, it was like everybody started talking about the filling station. So Friday night, that was the thing. What y'all doing after work? Everybody going to the filling station. So as a group, we used to go to the filling station. You know, Rod, if you listening, you know how we used to rock out at the filling station. So we go to the filling station, and, you know, I think I invited, I don't know if I invited Kanisha to the filling station.
We probably were already going to the filling station because me and Stacy, if she's watching, Stacy and Kawana, we would all go to the filling station. And during that time, I think we probably had talked about it, and we were all just going to the same spot.
Yes.
So everybody would just go to the same spot. We'd go to the filling station. After we leave the filling station, we would go to the club. Mm-hmm. And that would be our routine every weekend.
Yeah. So one particular night we went to the filling station, and me and my man Rod, we call ourselves Red and Black. So, because, you know, I'm light skinned, he dark skinned. So we always, when we used to have stuff, we used to call it the Red and Black production. But me and Rod, we thought we was on our shit.
Yeah, they did.
We thought we was big time, man. And, you know, when we had that townhome, that was the spot for the women to come over and hang out. Ooh. So we go to the filling station. Me and Rod got ourselves a booth. So we thought we was big kicking it. You know what the youngsters say today, big kicking it. But me and Rod thought we was big kicking it. So we had a booth. So when we was in there, we saw Kanisha and her crew. I was like, Rod, man, there's Kanisha right there. Like, y'all come on over and get in the booth. So I remember to this day, she had on all black. You know, Kanisha used to wear her hair long behind her ear, and I used to love that. So they come over to the booth and they had this drink called the Tune Up and the Skull Fuck. They would bring it to you. It was lit up. So we over there chilling, over there drinking. And, you know, had a partner of mine there with us and everything. So at the end of the night, I think I don't know if I had to take Kanisha home because I think her friends knew, you know, what it was all about. So I had to take a buddy of mine home too, but I had to take Kanisha home. So at the end of the night, you know, we had some drinks, you know, feeling good and stuff like that. So out of respect, you know, I wanted to get her home. I wanted to make sure that she made it home safely. So, you know, I get in the car, my partner gets in the back, Kanisha gets up front. So I think she made herself real comfortable because she took her shoes off and kicked it up on my dash. So I'm like, oh, she real comfortable. So I had to drop her off. I wanted to get her home safely. So I dropped Kanisha off. And my partner said, man, he had to go to the bathroom. So Kanisha was like, oh, you can come in the house and use the bathroom. So as he went in the house, I got out the car and I went in the house too. So as he's using the bathroom, I go in Kanisha's apartment. She had this particular chair. It was so comfortable, man. I sat in that thing. It was almost like one of them King's captain chair. So I sat in that chair. So when I sat in that chair, I'm waiting for my man to come out of the bathroom. He comes out of the bathroom, so he dips out, goes back out to the car. I'm still sitting in the chair. So as I'm leaving out, you know, Kanisha, you know, walks me to the door, and she tries to beg to differ on this one. And I'm standing by what I say, and I'm confirmed on what I say. As I was walking out the door, you know how you get that notion like somebody wants you to do something or initiate something. But as I walk out that door and I'm about to leave, and she's standing there like, nigga, are you gonna reach in for a kiss or what? I didn't do it. And she reached in and initiated that kiss. So she gave me a kiss goodnight. And right then and there, I walked out that hallway. I said, man, I got her now. I got her. So once I leave and I go out, I'm like, man, I got her. So from that day forth, I don't know what happened to her relationship. I'll let her touch on that. So you can go in and touch on that.
Y'all know my memory is horrible. Let me try to remember. I think what happened was I ended up talking to the guy. We ended up talking with each other, and what happened was my apartment got broken into. The apartment that you came, no, that wasn't that apartment. It was a previous apartment. So my apartment had got broken into, and he was there with me. And at that time, I was talking to Kareem, but then we were talking, and I think I don't even know, we were texting back then. Were we texting back then? Because we had like flip phones. Probably.
Nah, I did have a phone. I had one of them I felt like Motorola flips. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like he came across his number. I think that's what it was. I think I had back then. We wrote the numbers down. When you gave out the number, we was writing numbers down on paper. So I think Kareem had given me his number, and then this guy ended up seeing his number or finding his number somewhere laying around my house. And so he got so upset, and, you know, we ended up parting ways, which was fine because, you know, my mind was elsewhere at that time. So, you know, we then broke up, and then that's when me and Kareem just went full speed at that time. That was what, in 1999. And then, I think then you can go into when we decided to move in together.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that she said about moving, you know, in with each other. That really didn't take place until probably about 2000, because I had my own, she had her own, but once I met her, it was all about her. So we was around each other. I made it apparent to get around her anytime I could, right? So the crazy thing is, I'm gonna share this little story. I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. Like when I first met her, and I had opportunities to go over to her house, you know what I'm saying, before, you know, things took off. Everybody in the Dallas area knows where Skillman and Aldelia is, and Kanisha stayed off of Frankfurt, and that's a long way. So you got to go 635. You got to go on a major freeway. So one night, was chilling. I don't know what happened, you know, with my car situation, but I wanted to make a way to get over to Kenesha. So guys,
Kelly, wasn't it? It was on Kelly.
Yeah, Frankfurt and Kelly.
Kelly.
Frankfurt and Kelly. So I'm off of Skillman and Ardelia. So I'm off of Skillman and Ardelia, and I said, man, I got to get to go see her. I can't. It's a weekend, a Friday night. I got to go see her. So, man, I got on my bicycle. I had a bicycle. I got on my bicycle, and Kenesha used to drink this particular wine. It was Colorasi.
Either Carlos Rossi.
Carlos Rossi. It had a little cork in it.
And Arbor Mist. That was my
the Arbor Mist. We used to call it Thug Passion, but the Colorasi had a little cork. So I stopped to the liquor store and got that Colorasi, and it's almost that color. And I got on my bicycle with that wine. And I rode my bicycle on 635 against the traffic, going down the freeway. And at that time, you know, the GPS and all that stuff, like the, you know, Waze and all that stuff, I don't think that was available at the time. I just knew that she stayed I knew where she stayed. I just didn't know how to get there. So I get on 635 and I cut through Valley View Mall's parking lot. And I'm going down away, and I asked this. I saw somebody, and I stopped, and I asked the young man. I said, "Man, how far is how far is Frankfurt and Kelly from here?" He said, "Man, you got a ways." And I was like, "If I go down Preston, can I get that way?" He said, "Yeah, if you take Preston all the way down, it's probably about 15 miles down, and then you make that left on Frankfurt. You just take it all the way." So, man, I got back on that bike, started pedaling. I said, I'm going to get there. But I finally made it. I made it, and I got there. And when I got there, man, it was like, man, I mean, I'm walking in. I'm like, at that time, man, Kenesha was just, I mean, she just blew my mind, man, because the way she used to wear her hair, and I told her that, and I think she used to do it on purpose at times because she knew what it was about. So we get back to, you know, we at the job and everything, and you know, like I said, her situation with her relationship, I didn't know where it was, you know, going at. So I used to walk around and I saw her, and I was like, I wanted to see what type of men that, you know, Kenesha was dealing with, right? So I go down to, you know, her little work area, and I look up on her screen. She had a picture of Shamar Moore on her screen, right? But she's telling me, that was back then, yeah. No, she's telling me that she don't date light-skinned people.
I didn't.
Right?
I didn't date Shamar Moore.
I know you didn't date Shamar Moore, but she said that's not her cup of tea.
It wasn't, but I mean.
And I say to myself, you know, her boyfriend later on at the time, you know, he was a dark-skinned dude. Well, not dark-skinned about her complexion and all that. So I'm like, okay, I figure, you know, what type of, you know, men she's dealing with. But she always told me, you know, she never dated a light-skinned person. She wasn't into him, right? But she sure had that Shamar Moore. That was her screensaver. But come to find out as we got together, she loves some Tyrese. So she likes them chocolate men. Everybody knows her. She likes Tyrese. But she's always told me, you know, I've never dated a light-skinned guy. So, but unfortunately, you know, you ended up with me.
First time for everything, right?
Yeah, but you know, first time for everything, and that was the last because look who you stuck with.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, me being the smooth person I was, you know, I'm thinking, you know, I knew what I was doing. Sometimes I used to do stuff and say stuff to her to get a rise from her to see where her feelings was really at. So at this particular time at the job, I don't know what happened. I was going back home to visit, got me a plane ticket, and shout out to my brother Jamie if he's watching. You know, he picked me up from the airport, and I was going home, and I don't know what the situation was. I don't know if her relationship had broken all the way off, but I get home, and I just wanted to call her to let her know that I made it home safely. And guys and girls, man, I made that phone call, and a dude answered the phone. I was like, oh, okay. Some dude answered the phone. It must have been her, you know, ex-boyfriend. He got all pissed up. I heard him say, who is this? I said, man, I'm just calling, you know, her, tell her that I made it home. So I don't know if that was the straw that broke the camel's back for their relationship just to crash, because now he heard my voice. He might have saw my number laying around, but now he heard my voice. He knew that, oh, this dude's real. So he must have said, man, they must really got something going on because he calling the house. So I'm calling the house, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, she didn't answer the phone. He answered the phone. So I was kind of pissed off. So I think at that time I said, look, man, just consider me dead. So I just wanted to get a rise out of her. So I'm at the house, man, and I'm laying around and I hear our phone ring at the house. And I heard my mother call me like, Kareem, some girl by the name of Kanisha's on the phone for you. I was like, Mom, I don't want to talk to her. I was pissed off. Did I talk to you? Did I get on the phone? Did I actually get on the phone?
I don't think so.
I don't think I got on the phone to talk to her because I was pissed off. But I wasn't pissed off. I was using them tactics.
Probably ended up calling me though.
Yeah, I think I did call her after that. But I just
he's trying to play hard.
I knew what I was doing.
Not hard at all.
Everybody knows. I knew what I was doing at the time because I got a rise out of her because I made her start thinking. I made her start worrying like, oh man, I didn't messed up. But no, she didn't mess up because she had a current situation that I didn't know about. So it's like I didn't answer. I told my mother, just tell her I ain't here. Phone hung up. I think I eventually called her back. I don't know if I did call her back. I think I called her back when I made it back to Dallas. So, but I just wanted her, I wanted to put on her mind that, oh, okay, you messing with the wrong one now. Because I knew what I was doing. So it's kind of crazy. I say that to say this is because when I locked in on something that I wanted, I was going to keep it until I got it. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, their situation, I ain't gonna say unfortunately, their situation broke off. So it was all about me and her. So the funny thing is we hanging out. We doing everything together. So the apartment complex that I had and the apartment complex that she had was on the opposite sides of town. So I'm paying bills at my complex, but I'm always over at her house.
He would be leaving stuff, y'all. He leave a toothbrush, he leaves some socks, he leaves some shorts, and I'm like, all of a sudden you done left 2 items and you got a whole little drawer going on. Now, mind you, I wasn't really bringing anybody in. At this point, Amber still had not even met. She don't know nothing about him at this point. We probably dated for a good year maybe before Amber even met him or before we formally introduced Amber. But yeah, I think it was a little less than that. Yeah,
maybe 6 months. About 6 months, a little less than that because every time I used to go over there, I had to go over there while Amber was asleep.
Yes, that was my rule. Couldn't come over here when my child was up.
Yeah, and that's respect. And the crazy thing about it is when we start to really, you know, talk and being engaged. Well, I'm not engaged, but engaged in each other, you know, speaking. We found out a little bit more. And the crazy thing about it is I would get my daughter on the weekends and she would always come over. And I finally introduced my daughter to Kanisha. And, you know, my daughter and her daughter, they were 5. It was in 99. Well, they're 4 and 5. Yeah, 4 and 5. So they only like 5 months apart. So the crazy thing is, when I first got a chance to meet Amber, it was funny. Kanisha finally brought her over to the house, over to my townhome. And when I met her, I introduced myself to her as Dynamite. I said, I'm Dynamite.
Like, why in the world are you telling her your name is Dynamite?
Yeah. So Amber, you know, I've been, you know, raising Amber since she was 4 years old. So it's kind of crazy. And then everything that we did, Amber and Jasmine, they was like 2 peas in a pod. They would do everything together. And in particular Christmases, you know, they wanted bikes. They used to ride their bikes all the time. On the weekends they played. They did all kinds of stuff, man. They make up games on the cards and stuff. And they really enjoyed each other. And the crazy thing about it is we would all hang out and we would all go places together then as a big family, but we wasn't a family then. But, you know, but like I said, if y'all go back and listen earlier, I said, man, I was going to marry this young lady one day. So, you know, as things, you know, progress, you know, I think it got a little bit more serious, man, because I was just with her every day of the week, man, and everybody knew. And, you know, I tell people, you always got to deal with the people that came before you, right? So, you know, Kanisha being here from the Dallas area, and, you know, I would step out and I would always have in the back of my mind, not knowing her past, like, eventually I'm gonna have to run into somebody that she's dealt with. And I would tell this story, you know, I laugh about it to this day. But we go back to the filling station. So me and Kanisha up at the bar. You know what I'm about to say, right?
I think.
We at the bar, and I'm up there with Kanisha, and this dude walks up, and he like kind of like gets in between me and Kanisha, and like puts his hand on the bar, like trying to shield me out, trying to get to Kanisha to try to talk to her. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, Kanisha? You know, I can't get no hug or nothing." She was like, "Nah, I'm here with my boyfriend." And I'm like, I kind of like pushed him to the side, like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" She said she here with her boyfriend. So I'm like, man, you know, at that time, you know, I was a little reckless then, but he didn't like kids say today, he didn't want that smoke, but I wasn't gonna take it there. Kanisha handled that respectfully and let him know up front that, hey, nah, it's not that type of party no more. I'm here with my boyfriend. You're not gonna disrespect him. And you know, we moved on from there and never saw that dude ever again in life. Still haven't saw him. So I say that to say that, but she handled the situation great, and that was respect. So, you know, we'll keep it going, and you know, we serious at this time. So we had plans. So in 2000, we decided to move in with each other, right? So we decided to get an apartment with each other over there at Grayson's Gate in 2000. So everybody that, you know, my family that's been down the Great, they know what Grayson's Gate's about. So we just used to do everything together, man. And, you know, our whole story is like, when I first met her, I was set to say, hey, we get married. So I told her at about age 30, I'm going to be married with 2 kids. And when you speak stuff, it comes into fruition. So, you know, she laughing, but it's kind of crazy because I don't, you know, she know the real. I think she know that I was serious, and she was serious too, because I don't think she got a jealous bone in her body, but she was falling in love. She was falling in love. So I think before we moved in with each other, I was over at her apartment and she cooked me I think what was that?
Meatloaf. We have this conversation because you said it wasn't meatloaf, but I know
think it was meatloaf.
Look, my skills back then wasn't what they are now, so I had to cook with what I knew how to cook. And meatloaf and spaghetti was my 2 go-tos. So he had some meatloaf.
That was like the
best meatloaf you had.
It was meatloaf because you remember I had got into a car accident.
Meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
I had got into a car accident. Was working at Excel Communications. I was on my way. I was taking somebody home, and somebody ran into the back of me. So I don't know how you got the phone call that I was in an accident, because I had to go to that little hospital that was on 635. And you know, I had messed my back up, had a little lumbar strain, but that didn't stop me because I wanted to go see Kanisha. And when they released me, I told Kanisha, I said, I'm coming over. She was like, you in the hospital? So I went over there and she cooked me. It was meatloaf. It was meatloaf. So she cooked me that meatloaf. And when she cooked me that meatloaf, man, it's probably one of the best meals I ever had, man. So I said, oh man, she can cook. So that was impressive.
Mama taught me well.
So the funny thing about it is now now back at the job, everybody knows that me and Kanisha are an item now, because we was every place we went, even in the break room, we go on break, we was with each other. And on lunch, them lunch times was epic.
Super salad. That was our spot.
Man, go ahead.
Well, all I remember is super salad. Like back then, I used to just want super salad every day for lunch. And I'd be like, Kareem, you want to go to lunch? Or we want to go to lunch? I don't know how we would end up having the same lunch or how we would work that out, but we would end up going to lunch every day up until that time. But the funny thing is, we didn't work together for a long time before when we met, we didn't work together for a long time. You ended up leaving.
I ended up leaving the job and I moved on. But at the time when we was at CompUSA, you know, everybody knows me. You know, I take a lunch I make my own lunch schedule. So I used to make my lunch schedule based around Kanisha's schedule to go to lunch with her. So we used to always go to Super Salad. I go to Super Salad and be on lunchtime. And, you know, as you know, you fresh in a relationship, man, you're going to lunch, man, eating Super Salad, you conversating. And then, you know, at that time, you know, you always want to try to find something else to do before you get back to work. So, you know, we used to stop off at the complex, spend some time, and then get back to work. But it was funny because at that time, as we're going to see, everybody knew at that job that we was an item. She got a particular group of friends that she hang around with. She knows. She already gave me a shout out, Stacy, Kawana, and you know, Twamika. She used to hang out with them, and everybody knows that once we you know, Rod, like I said, I keep mentioning Rod, but you know, our townhome, he knew it used to pop, and our townhome was the hot spot after the club for all the women to come over to. So, you know, Rod had the upstairs, I had the downstairs.
They had a whole house, yeah.
Now it wasn't a whole house, man. Me and Rod, man, we used to like we used to tell people, we used to have more traffic than 635 in rush hour. So it's like after the club, you know, I had downstairs. I always used to be like, okay, Rod, I know they coming over after get out the club, and it'd be about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. We see this little burgundy Ford Escort pull up.
Essie.
Yeah, shout out to Stacy with her burgundy Escort. Like, yeah, they here. So Kanisha get out, man, come downstairs. And I would already have because I know Kanisha off in the candles and stuff. I'd have my candles burning, man. I'd have the bath water ran for it, everything. So, you know, guys, you know, I knew what I was doing. So, but everybody knew that we was an item then. So we just spent a lot of time with each other. And I was like, man, when we moved into 2000, man, I was like, man, you know, we've been dating for about a year now. We met everybody's, you know, family, but it's a story. Now, we haven't met everybody's family members yet. I don't even know if she introduced me to her mother then. I don't think I was introduced to her mother. She knew of
you after you gave me a little heart necklace. I believe it might have been for Valentine's Day. I got a necklace. Oh yeah. And I remember telling Mama, I was like, look, Mama, he gave me a necklace. And she was like, oh, that's nice. That was pretty. That was nice of him. And then from that point, I then started kind of telling her, you know, about him and who he was, and, you know, that we were dating. But, you know, my mom, she really didn't, you know, get too much in my relationship business.
She's laid back.
She would just be like, oh, okay. All right, then. You know, at that point, I had moved out and had my own place. So, you know, then we, you know, took it from there. Yeah. After we moved in together, it just kind of, those couple years just kind of went by. I think the first year that I met your parents was
that was in 2000.
2000. Yeah, I remember my whole outfit. When I tell you I was nervous, I was so nervous. Yeah. I had on the little jean jacket outfit. You know, you had I had blue jean jacket. I had the jeans, and I had my little brown boots, and I had on my little Charlie's Angel shirt.
Vaughn, you know about the Charlie's Angel shirt. And I'm glad that she mentioned that, because I said, you know, I wanted to introduce her to my parents, right? So, you know, I'll backtrack a little bit, because when I was in the military, every weekend, you know, I was in Norfolk, and, you know, being in Maryland, it was only like a 3.5 hour drive. And I used to, you know, weekends, I used to bring a different chick home every time, right? And, you know how as parents, they look at you like, she ain't the one for you. Well, nah, she ain't. You know, it was just convenient. You know, I'm just bringing them home.
Flavor of the week.
Yeah, like say flavor of the week. Man, for real, guys, man, you know, some of the people that, you know, I used to deal with, like in Virginia and stuff, when I used to bring them home, people were like, man, where you meet her at, Mo? Shit, I'm in the military, man. Me and my partners, man, we used to, you know, move around. We meet chicks all the time. But, you know, like I said, nothing serious, man. It was just, at that time, just some toys to play with, you know what I'm saying? But when I first said, okay, Kanisha, we going home to Maryland. I want you to meet my family. So we took a plane ride home. It was in January. It was cold, right? And introduced her to my goddaughter, Jay Sean, if you're watching the show. She knows when she met Kanisha back in 2000. The crazy thing about it is, when I first introduced her to my father, and the first thing my dad said to her when I introduced them, he said, when are you going to become my daughter-in-law? And I'm like, wow. So, you know, your dad says that, you know, Like, okay, well, okay. And then everybody, you know, that knew my mother, you know, rest in peace to mom. Everybody that knew her, she knew my mom was pretty, you know, hard on the females that came in her son's lives, right? And, you know, it's some females that I dealt with that my mom was like, why are you dealing with her? You know, she ain't no good for you and all that. Okay, mom, you listen to your mom, but as kids, your mother's always, well, they say your mother's always right. You're going to listen to them. But, you know, you don't take heed to that until you grow up in life and you experience things with your own kids. And you be trying to tell your kids, like, man, you know, you ain't supposed to be doing that. This is how it's supposed to be done. But back then, when I was a kid, I didn't want to hear that, you know, because I thought I was the man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Mom, how you going to tell me who I can, you know, date and who I can talk to? But when your mother comes to you and says, Kareem, I think, you know, I think you might have found one. I think I like her. And that really touched me because I know how my mother was with, you know, with her boys, you know what I'm saying, with women coming into their lives, you know what I'm saying? But Kanisha left a great impression on that first, you know, introduction to my, you know, my parents. And, you know, once you get support from them, you're like, okay, well, I got my, you know, my family support. And then Kanisha, it was like natural. Kanisha just fit in with everybody in my family. I mean, it was like almost organic. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody that my family that's watching, they know when Kanisha was introduced to him, she just got in where she fit in. And it's crazy when I say that because, you know, a lot of relationships and couples, you know, it takes them a while to, you know, to get in with their family. But Kanisha fit right in. And the thing I felt most comfortable with Kanisha was because I had nothing to hide then, right? Because I think I laid all the cards on the table on what I was about and what I went through, right? So it's been times that I'm at home, you know, when we're first dating, you know, I'm at home with Kanisha. I didn't have to be around Kanisha. I could go off and hang out with the boys and Kanisha could be, you know, hanging with the family. And I wouldn't have to worry about nothing like for them telling her something that she's going to come back to me and like, oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me that? Never happened. I felt so comfortable because I laid all my cards on the table at the beginning so she wouldn't find nothing that I left out. So I could go home. We'd be home and I'm hanging out with Vaughn and my boy Larry. Shout out to Larry if he's watching. We hanging out and Kanisha could be hanging with the girls. And I wouldn't have to worry about nothing like being said behind my back that she didn't know about. So that's a lot of respect right there. And it's kind of crazy because it's funny that all my, you know, my aunts and my uncles, my cousins, they just love Kanisha, man. And well, I'll take a step back, you know, like with her family, you know, her family here in Dallas, you know, like her father's side of the family, they're in Orange, Texas. And the first time I was able to visit down in Orange, what year was that? Was that in,
oh, man.
I think that was 99. I think I met your family before you met mine. Your father's side of the family. And at that time, I didn't know, you know, I spoke to her about her dad and everything, but I didn't know the situation. But at that time, her father was incarcerated at the time. So I never really got a chance to meet him. And, you know, come to find out, you know, he had to do some time, but I never, like I said, I never had a chance to meet him. But he would always used to write Kanisha and stuff like that. And, you know, he wanted us to come visit and things like that, but we never got a chance to go visiting. But when I went down to Orange, Texas to meet her family for the first time, man, it's like I fit right in. Like they accepted me right in there. And her grandmother, Nanny, you know, I love her to death, man. And how old is Nanny?
Ooh, 97, 98, 90.
Yeah, she's about 97, 98. And when I may be a little off. When I first met Nanny, man, she gave me the name Charisma. She called me Charisma. And when I met her family, like her Uncle Howard, her Aunt Cent, and all them, and her Uncle Wendell, love them to death, rest in peace. They just took me in. And at that time, I took my daughter down there as well. Me and Jasmine went down there, and they just welcomed us in with open arms. And that felt special. And we just had a good time, man. I was like, man, families, appreciate each other. They appreciated me. My family appreciated Kanisha. And the one thing, as time progressed, 2001, I came up with a plan. I said, man, I think it's almost that time to propose. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. And one thing that I look back on now, I wish I would have did different. I really never sat down and, talked to her mother about it, right? Because, mother was a single parent raising, her and her brother and, helping out with Amber at the time. But that's one thing I regret, because I never really sat down and talked to moms about, about her daughter, that I wanted to propose to her and things like that. That's one thing I regret. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell them that now. I think about it, here and there, like, man, if I could have did it all over again, I wish I would have sat down. Yeah, I wish, in 20 years, I'll redo it. But that's one thing I do regret, because I never got a chance to really sit down with moms and have that conversation, be like, moms, this is how I feel about your daughter, and this is what I want to do. How do you feel about the situation? And that's one thing I regret, man. But I didn't do that. And, me being, 25, 26 at the time, I didn't know how to do that, because I was taking matters in my own hand. I just wanted to marry her. So it's kind of crazy, because my brother-in-law, I had a chance to go to Vegas to their wedding in 2001. And I've always talked to my brother-in-law, Vaughn, if he's watching the show, I know he is. I told him, I said, man, I got to find a way to propose to Kanisha. And, people in Maryland know that every time we come home around the 4th of July, we always have a big backyard barbecue at my dad's house. And with all the family and friends on my side, right? So I said, Vaughn, that'll be the perfect opportunity, but you got to help me. You got to help me set up this proposal. So I'm talking to Vaughn about this proposal. And he said, man, why don't you do it at the family picnic? So it was in my mind to do it, but at that time you get a little nervous, and we go home for 4th of July picnic. And I'm a little nervous, man. And I thought I was going to back out. And, we sitting there and we're talking. And, at that time, it was a little pause break after eating. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
It was a pause break after we eaten.
Yeah, I was sitting. I probably was sitting. I probably was eating crab or something. Probably was sitting with Megan. And I just remember Kareem coming out, and he stood there, and I think somebody may have asked me to come up there or something or another. I remember standing up there.
Vaughn.
And I had on an orange t-shirt dress.
I had the picture I wanted to show y'all the proposal, but I dropped the ball on that one. So I'll post that later. But it's funny. I talked to Vaughn. Vaughn said, that's a perfect opportunity. So I thought Vaughn was joking. Vaughn went up there and said, hey, I got a special announcement to make. He called Kanisha up to the front of the tent with all my family sitting there. And I'm just like thinking, like, Vaughn, I kind of got cold feet at the time. I was like, nah, Vaughn. But I went through with it. So when he called her up there, I walked up there. I had my braids to the back. I had on my red Fat Farm shirt. It was nothing dressed up. I wasn't dressed up or anything. I had on some Fat Farm shorts and my Allen Iverson Reeboks. And at that time, I was like, Vaughn, okay. So I got up there and I just, in front of everybody, that's when I got down on one knee and I announced my, proposal and asked her, would she marry me? She accepted.
I was hesitant at first. I was nervous because I felt like, wow. I felt like I have to say yes right now.
Well, you didn't have to say yes. You didn't have to say yes.
I know I didn't have to, but it was just kind of like I was put on the spot, and I was real like all I was thinking about was, oh my God, I got to go back home and tell my mama that I'm engaged. Yeah. That was my biggest thing.
Yeah.
So, at that point, I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and do this. And and then deal
She
with.
went with her gut feeling, y'all.
Yeah, and then go ahead and worry about how we gonna tell Mama when we get home.
Yeah. And I'm glad that she said they're worried about how to tell Mama when we get home, because like I said, y'all heard me say earlier, that's one thing I regret, because I didn't inform her of the situation until after the fact. And like I said, if I could go back, I would do it differently. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy that, a little backyard barbecue turned into like a little engagement party. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was so excited. And everybody that knows my family, everybody wanted to be involved in the wedding, right? In the wedding plan. Lisa, if you're looking, my Aunt Sissy, and my Aunt Debbie, rest in peace, they really wanted to be an intricate part of my wedding. They wanted to plan things and help us get it going, right? Because, them being in Maryland, me being in Texas, and the crazy thing about it is they was doing so much from afar. They was giving inputs on everything. And, at that time when the wedding came, when we got married in 2003, it was crazy because doing our planning ourselves, as a young couple, trying to figure things out on venues. At that time, we both had good jobs. I was working at Brinks International. Shout out to my Brinks International crew that are watching. It's crazy because we both had good paying jobs. And it's like, I just want to, say that we did a lot of things on our own. And the thing about it is, I take a quote from my favorite, NFL player, Randy Moss. It was all about straight cash, homie. I didn't use no credit cards or nothing. Everything that we did, it was straight cash for the wedding. When we got our venue, we put down straight cash deposit. We didn't use no credit cards or anything like that. So, we got our reception was at the Holiday Inn off of 635. But the Holiday Inn is not there no more. We got the whole ballroom. And we did it big for ourselves within the means of our budget back then.
Yeah, in 2003 big.
Yeah, with 2003, we was big kicking. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people coming out of a marriage, they got a lot of debt they got to pay, their credit cards, because that's what they put their wedding on. But the thing about it is, we never did that. We actually did everything with straight cash. So kudos to my wife, man, because she came up with a game plan, got a wedding book. You can touch on that, how you organize things.
I pretty much, between me, my mom, and Aunt Debbie and Aunt Sissy, literally, we planned the wedding. I did have a lady who helped as well. She was actually certified to plan, and she actually helped out a lot, but I probably could have done without her. Because we did a lot of it. My mom did my bouquets. She did all the floral, any kind of floral. She did all the guys' boutonnieres, all of that stuff. So, they pretty much stepped in and helped us like no other. And it turned out good.
Yeah, everything turned out well. Like Kanisha did say, we did have a wedding planner, but the wedding planner at the time, I don't think she put into it what she was supposed to put into it, and she was so-called be a wedding planner.
Yeah.
My Aunt Sissy and my mother-in-law and my Aunt Debbie, they spearheaded this whole wedding. They put stuff in motion that I was just thankful for. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy that it happened that way because, being from Maryland, staying here in Texas, now when you plan the wedding, you're trying to figure out where you want to get married at. You want to compensate everybody. But, I wanted to compensate her family as well as I wanted to compensate my family. But my family, they love to travel. So once I sat down and said, okay, these are the guys that I want in my wedding. Shout out to all my guys, my groomsmen, my best man, and my little ring bearer, E.J. Sappington, my flower girls, my daughter, my other daughter, and my goddaughter. They was all my flower girls. So we pretty much had everything the way we wanted. And the crazy thing about it is, when we found out the venue, at that particular time, we was attending what was the church? It was in Louisville. What was
West Side?
We was going to West Side Baptist Church, and as you know, you're about to get married and you're attending church. You got to have the marriage counseling, them cycles. And Pastor Blake, man, he was a jokester, man, but he was a good dude. So we go through the marriage counseling. How many sessions we had? How many sessions?
Maybe 3-4 sessions, maybe. I don't know. It may have been 6.
Yeah, we
had to go through different sessions stuff on different categories. So, yeah.
So, shout out to Pastor Blake, for our marriage counseling and sessions we had. It turned out great. So he officiated the wedding. So at that time, we okay, things are getting, picking up momentum. So I had to, we got the wedding venue, we got the date set. We got the bridal party, and one of the her maid of honors, not maid of honors, but bridesmaids, she backed out. So Kanisha had to find a replacement. So we had, I think it was like 8, I think
7 and 7.
7 and 7, and then my best man. And the crazy thing about it is she found that replacement, so we made it work. And shout out to all my, my Maryland family and friends that participated in that day and that, participated in my wedding, that was in the wedding. And, they came up with a game plan, and everybody, once I told them the date, everybody got, stuff situated. I told them, where the venue was at the Holiday Inn. So I don't know if I did this. I think my Aunt Debbie did this. She blocked off so many rooms at the Holiday Inn, so everybody that was traveling was staying at the Holiday Inn. So, like I said, rest in peace, Aunt Debbie, love her to death. But she spearheaded that. She made, phone calls, got everything locked in. So at that time, everything was locked in. And then, my brother Jamie and my brother Eric, they spearheaded to getting the guys together and the family together, for the plane tickets to arrive here. So everybody arrived in one piece. And when they got here, I gotta share this story, because I'm gonna tell you how I got the keys to the city here in Dallas, and I want to tell people that it was kind of funny. And Vaughn, I think he's going to put a post on here when he hears this. So everybody arrives, and we're thinking about the guys. We wanted to hang out. The bachelor party. So I reach out to my man Herc. There was this particular club that was up on 635, not too far from the hotel, called Rockefellers. And I told my wedding party. This was before the bachelor party. I told my fellas, okay, all the ladies and all the guys, we're gonna hang out. We're going to the club. We was probably about 20. I say about 22 to 25. We was probably about 22, roughly around about 20 to 22 deep. And at this particular time, this club be jumping. So I give a phone call to my man Herc, man. We about to come up. He said, "Come on, I got you." And I'm trying to convince Vaughn that, man, we're not standing no line. We're not standing nowhere. As soon as we get to the club and I tell Herc that we here, we going straight to the front. So when we get there, it's funny. Vaughn was like, "Man, there's too many people out here, man. We ain't gonna get in." The line was to the door back to the parking lot. So everybody parks. I get my party together, and we start proceeding to the front. I say, "Herc, we here." He said, "Come on up to the front." And we walking past the line, 20 to 22 people walking past everybody that's in the line. They looking at us like we crazy. So we get to the front. Herc stops the line, opens up the velvet red rope, just lets us go through, puts us in the VIP section, sent the drinks down, sent the food down. And Vaughn like, "Man, hold up, man. You ain't got it like that." I said, "Yes, I do. You saw what just happened. We shut the whole line down for my wedding party to get up in the club." So we had a great time that night, man. And at that time, it's wedding weekend. And the crazy thing about it is I wasn't nervous. I was ready. I knew what I wanted to do. And I don't know how Kanisha felt at that time. I'll let her, explain.
Well, I wasn't nervous, but it was funny because I have a funny story the night before the wedding. we did do a bachelorette party. But the night before the wedding, we all stayed at my mom's house. I think most of my bridesmaids, Stacy, I see you on there. Hey, girl. Let me know if you stayed. I think she stayed with us too. We all stayed at my mom's house, and then we all had to get up super early to go get our hair done. Y'all, when I tell you, well, Sharisa, shout out to my cousin Sharisa, if she's watching. We stayed up all night and giggled. I'm talking about all night. I don't know what we were talking about. Knew I needed to be asleep because we had an early morning. So we get up early. I'm talking about 5 o'clock early. And Nene was my hairstylist back then. Shout out to Nene, hairstylist for years. She hooked us all up. Literally at 5 o'clock in the morning, we all piled into into my mama's Taurus, Ford Taurus. And y'all, when I tell y'all, we was riding around illegal, like for real, because we were lapped up. It was about 8 of us in that car, literally. And we had Amber on lap, we had Tootsie Roll, we had Rod's daughter was in there with us.
Shout out to Brianna,
and we had Jasmine in there. I mean, it was Amber, Jay Sean. We had everybody in this Taurus, y'all. And I to this day do not know how we all got in that Taurus, but we made it and we came back. And I mean, we forgot a lot of stuff, y'all. We got to the wedding and I didn't have my garter.
She didn't have the garter. My aunt Sissy and I
tiara.
She didn't have the tiara. They made shift. My aunt Sissy, they rigged something up. And you'll never know that it wasn't the real thing. Yes, my mama was trying to leave out and was like, "Let me run the Sam Moon and let me get this." And I was like, "No," I was crying. "No, you can't leave. You got to stay here with me." And Aunt Sissy was over here trying to make my garter out of some ribbon. And then I think my mom had an extra earring, and she ended up making my earring. So that's what I wore as my tiara. I had like the veil part, and I had like an earring that she had to make as my tiara. When I tell y'all, it's something to look back on. I'm telling you, because, you know, looking back on it, you know, you think about all of that, and that's really not the important part of the wedding. Right. At that time, you know, I was flipping out because I wanted everything to be perfect and I wanted everything to flow. But boy, I tell you, it was something. But at the end of the wedding, literally, we left people in the reception. The people in the reception was still partying. I was exhausted. Yeah. And it's funny that she said that is because shout out to my mother-in-law. She hosted the reception, the bridal party dinner, and at her house, and all the family, all Kanisha's family from Orange, all my family from Frederick, Maryland, that came up. We all was at my mother-in-law's house, man. Great food. I think what was on the menu? I think was it gumbo. Everybody enjoyed the gumbo.
We had gumbo, potato salad. We had we had all kinds of stuff. Yeah. My aunt Cent got in the kitchen. Yeah. She whipped up, like she say, whipped up a pot of gumbo. We were eating good.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is, shout out to my boy Greg Thomas, man, because he loved that gumbo. And it's like every time I get a chance to talk to him, he's like, man, I need that gumbo. And I always say, hey, my aunt Cent cooking that gumbo. Always give him a shout out. And, you know, they enjoyed Greg because Greg enjoyed that gumbo. But shout out to Greg if he's looking, man. You know, he loved that gumbo. But, you know, to fast forward, you know, that day, August 23rd of 2003 came, and, you know, it was that time. So when, you know, we all get to the venue, and at that time, making preparations, man, got me a stretch Hummer, you know, for transportation for the bridal party. And the crazy thing, I was in the hotel, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm coming down, and I ran into Stacy. Stacy, you'll remember this when I tell you this story. I ran into Stacy in the elevator, but at this particular time, I think Kanisha was going to get on the elevator too. But you know, you're not supposed to see your bride the day of, right? Until she comes down. And I think Stacy started panicking. No, you better get off this elevator because Kanisha about to get on the elevator. So I think I had to stop to another floor and get off at another floor. Stacy, if you're in here looking, confirm that that's correct. But I think I had to stop the elevator and get off at another floor so I wouldn't run into Kenesha. But, you know, as we was getting ready, you know, we go to the wedding venue out there at Westside Baptist Church in Louisville. We get to the wedding, you know, and that's when I think everything started hitting me, right? So I'm back in the dressing room. I'm getting dressed, and I think that's when it really hit me. Like, man, I'm getting married. My sister had to help me button my
shaking. Couldn't do
but
it.
I had to help me button my tie. Had to help me button my tie. She had to help me button my collar to put, and I think my dad was getting my, you know, my tie, bow tie, you know, adjusted. But my sister, shout out to my sister Megan, she had to get me right up there because, you know, she came in the dress, she helped her brother out, and I appreciate that. But once I got my nerves underneath me and got no, son, I wasn't nervous. I was just a little overwhelmed at the situation at that time. You saw the video, but I had to get myself together. But my sister got me, you know, all together. So once I got myself together, and like I tell people, when you get married, man, it's the fact that you and your best man and the pastor are the first people to go out there. So you got to wait for everything to take place. So I was like, man, I get out there. It was the wait was like, man, just waiting for Kenesha to come down to get this done and over with. That was my moment where like, I'm like, hey, I got myself relaxed. You know, I was calm then. So as that transpired, you know, everything gets set up. They walking down the aisle, I'm watching everything take place. Man, I'm like, man, this is beautiful. And then when Kenesha came down the aisle, man, I was like, you know, looking beautiful as ever. I was like, wow, you know, it's that time, right? So when we got it down and she came down the aisle, and once everything, you know, transpired that way and we said our vows, and I think, you know, I said my vows with confidence, man. I said it loud and clear so everybody could hear. I didn't fumble over my words. You know, sometimes when you got to repeat after, you know, somebody, you might miss out a word. No, I was on point. And I was looking into her eyes and I was just letting her know, hey, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I said everything that people could hear me, you know, in the crowd, you know what I'm saying? And it was a wonderful thing. So, you know, I don't know how she was feeling at that moment that she come down because, you know, I look at her mother was crying. My mom was crying. Everybody was, you know, teared up. I don't know how she was feeling. I'll let her explain that.
Yeah, I was nervous. Like looking back at the tape now, and I'm gonna say tape because it was a VHS. We need to get it transferred immediately. But yeah, we still got it. I went on the VHS, and I was coming down the aisle. I literally, and if y'all don't know, I mean, the people that know me know, I don't like attention. Like I don't like a whole lot of attention, like focused in on me. So that was a little different for me. So when, you know, people, you know, stand up, they looking at the bride. So I'm like, oh my God, all these people looking at me. I'm so nervous. Let me just make it down this aisle. I can't remember what kind of shoes I had on. I was like, please don't let me fall. And Corey was my brother, shout out Corey. He walked me down and I probably was shaking and everything else. So by the time I got down there, I looked at Kareem eye, one of his eyes was like, your eye was like red or low or something.
Got no sleep.
And I was like, what is wrong with his eye? I'm thinking the whole time, like, is he nervous? His eye was shaking or is it low? I mean, I knew I was nervous, but I'm like, his eye is red.
Yeah, I wasn't, after my nerves calmed down, I wasn't nervous, but I think I was tired from the whole weekend. And that night of the wedding, I stayed at me and my brother Jouney, I stayed at my apartment, and he kept me up all night. I didn't know what socks I needed to wear because, you know, I got married in all white. I didn't know what socks I needed to wear. And James I was like, man, I need to go to Walmart. I think it was like 2:00 in the morning. So Walmart was right down the street from the apartment. I said, James, I got to go to Walmart. I got to get some socks. So I finally got my white socks. I just think I was up all night for the anticipation. Then I had to make it back out to the hotel to get to the wedding venue. But, you know, I don't know. My limo driver, everybody knows that was in the limo. Charles, we had a good time in that limo.
Who remembers the limo driver name?
Yeah, Charles
was 2003.
Charles was my limo man, and we kicked it in the limo, man, and we had a great time. And like I said, you know, I wasn't nervous, but the wedding took place, man. And I'm gonna show you guys a little clip of the wedding. So this is how it all unfolded on August 23rd of 2003. So that was just a little glimpse of, you know, that day. So for everybody that was tuned in, I appreciate your time. But that's the Ksapp's love story. And I want to give y'all, for the guys and girls and everybody that was tuned in and followed our story, just going to give you a chance. We're going to do a giveaway. Simply Ball Dropping is going to give away a Simply Ball Dropping drip hoodie, camo drip hoodie. And Kanisha is going to give away
some earrings.
Yeah, some earrings from Boho Chic.
Yep.
So for people that, you know, are tuned in and you're not following us, make sure that you guys, you know, you can go to my website. I'll pin the website on the screen. You can go to www.simplyballdropping.com for all your official Simply Ball Dropping merch. Also, my wife has her own online boutique. If you want to shop with her, I'll pin her website on the screen. So you guys, you can go to www.bohochictx.com. So this is what we're going to do for the people that are looking and still on the thing. Here's the question to get your chance to win the Simply Ball Dropping hoodie. Custom hoodie, and also the Boho Chic earrings. The first 5 people that comment, we'll put your name in a drawing and we'll pick the winner. So here's the question. It's a 2-part question. Where did me and Kanisha meet? And how long have we been married? So y'all can pin y'all's comments in the comment section. So, and also, if you have any questions that you want to ask us, feel free. We'll be on for the next 2 or 3 minutes asking questions. If you have any questions that you want to ask us, go ahead and ask the questions. But if you have the answers to the questions, pin them in the comment section, and we'll put your name in a drawing for a chance to win.
Okay. You gotta add, and you have to answer both.
You have to answer both questions. Turn that down. So you have to answer both questions.
What you want to say? Oh, you.
So guys, you got any questions that you want to ask the Ksapps? And I appreciate everybody that tuned in.
Yeah. And happy Valentine's Day.
And happy Valentine's Day.
On this cold Valentine's Day.
You're right, Rod. We all got in trouble at Comp USA, man. You're absolutely correct. But like I said, shout out to Rod Elder, man. You know, we've been holding it down, man. 20 plus years of friendship, man. Question for Kanisha. What do you like most about Ksapp?
Oh, let's see. The thing I like most about Kareem is that he is patient with me. I never have to worry about not being myself around him. I've always from day one been able to be myself. He's patient, and he doesn't judge. I guess that's two things, but kind of wrapped up in one. Yeah. So that's the most thing that I like.
Jay Breezy the GOAT. What job was it?
What is it that inspires you about each other? Okay, you can go first. So Eric wants to know, what is it that inspires us about each other?
You know what inspires me about Kanisha? What inspires me about Kanisha, man, she's really family oriented, right? Family is key to her. And Kanisha, you know, she has a great heart. And like I said, she's real patient. And I never really seen what inspires me. She don't never get out of character, right? And, you know, in her drive and her determination, when she wants to do something, you know, she goes and does it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I support that. You know, she does a lot of things that I'm not going to say the normal person don't do, but when she sets forth a plan, she gets it popping. And, you know, that's like my son always says, that's so inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she stands by what she believes in, and she goes for it. So I think we inspire each other.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, with me having a podcast, having a platform, that's inspirational to her too, because I can use my outlet, you know, and help her outlet as well. You know what I'm saying?
We bounce ideas off of each other.
Exactly.
Literally, when he feels like he's on the low end and I'm on a high, he feeds off of me and gets the high, and vice versa. If I'm feeling down, he does something that motivates me. So we feed off of each other's energy. If we, you know, he's like, you know, don't let that get to you. Don't let it get you down. Or, you know, so I think we feed off of each other.
Jay Breezy, your name will be entered in the drawing.
And I think Megan answered both questions.
Stacy, your name will be entered in the drawing. Megan, your name will be placed in the drawing. Sorry. Got a question. What do y'all feel is key to a successful marriage? That's from Sheena. Appreciate you tuning in, Sheena. The key, I mean, while we've been married so long, you know, marriage, you go through ups and downs, right? When you first start off, you know, it's real adventurous. You know, the first 2 or 3 years, man, you're still on a high. Your high hasn't came down. You're married. But once you get over that 5-year, you know, hump and things start to progress, you get a lot of communication, man, and a lot of things that, you know, I don't say, you got to set your pride aside, and you gotta sometimes you gotta set back, and you gotta really pay attention to what your significant other, you know, is saying. And it takes a lot of prayer, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people say you got to keep God first, you know what I'm saying? So once you do them things, the communication, keeping God first, and you got to listen. You know, guys have a tendency of not listening all the time, and you know, I used to be that way, but you know, sometimes if you don't listen, you're gonna miss something. And you know, Kanisha says a lot of things that, like she always tell me, I got a great memory, so I remember a lot of things that Kanisha says, and I stick to that, because I say that to say this, because when she says things, sometimes I'll circle back and be like, I wonder what she meant by that. And then you gotta look at yourself and be like, you know how people sometimes, I'm not gonna say reaching out for help, but they say things that they want you to understand. This is, if you do this, then it's gonna be okay. So, you know, you live and you learn, but you gotta listen. And I listen to Kanisha all the time, so it's kind of crazy. So I listen to her a lot. But the keys to success, man, is that open lines of communication. Sometimes you got to be vulnerable to that communication, man. Sometimes the communication might not be what you want to hear, but that it goes a long way. But if you just communicate, and like I say, pray about a lot of things.
Communication, I'm gonna dip in. I say communication as well on that, and keeping the right people in your corner. You know, it all boils down to the people that are in your corner. And you know, because if you got people that are, you know, negativity in your corner, it's just not gonna happen. So I feel like communication throughout the years, and learning how to communicate, because people always say communication, but how to communicate, because we had to learn each other, you know, we didn't always like each other.
Yeah.
Like I didn't always like Kareem, like literally, like some of the things that he did, but I had to learn. Seriously, I had to learn how to, like, our communication skills had to grow. They had to grow, and I had to learn how to communicate effectively, you know, to be able to move on. So yeah.
All right, Eric, your name will be entered in the drawing. One more. Got a question. The naked truth. What are two things that get under your skin about one another, but you don't share? I don't share this to people, but I share this with Kanisha all the time. This is what gets under my skin about Kanisha. It's a bad habit, and it gets under my skin. Is her tissue paper. I mean, like,
hey, y'all, my eyes and stuff be
running. She grabs tissue paper. I don't know what she does with, like, wipe her eyes. She might blow her nose and stuff, but she'll leave that stuff like on the floor or on the couch, or even when I get into bed, it's right there, and I got to, like, you know, mush it to the, like, get this stuff off of here. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, naked truth, Kanisha thinks she's always right, and you know, I don't share that a lot, but we get into it.
I'm right.
No, we get into it because when I'm right, if I know I'm right, I'm gonna stand on it. But if I'm wrong, I'll bow down. I'm like, you right.
Everybody know Kareem out there. Y'all better chime in.
Yeah, y'all know
that ain't right.
Because if
y'all
I'm right,
who think they right all the time.
Because majority of the time I'm right. But you know, and you know, Kanisha don't do no wrong. She think everything that she do it's okay. It's okay. As long as Kanisha doing it, it's okay.
Mine is the first thing that comes to my mind is clutter. Clutter. Kareem is a pet rat. When I tell you he don't want to throw nothing away, like he keep everything. He got a whole closet full of tennis shoes that he had from 1995 or 1997. Like, what are you gonna do with those? You ain't never gonna wear them no more. Why are we keeping these? So that, because I don't like clutter.
No, she don't, man. Kanisha is one of them.
Oh God, I'm steady cleaning up.
She cleans up every day.
I'm steady cleaning up his dresser or his side of the bathroom sink.
Misplacing my stuff, and I'll be like, okay, I know where my stuff is at, and then she'll go move stuff. I'm like, Kanisha, where you put my? I don't know. It was open. Well, Kanisha, you clean my dresser off. Where you put it at? So yeah.
Yes, and then the other thing would probably be get under my skin. Probably when he gets too loud at times.
She don't like that.
I don't like it. I mean, I know he is boisterous.
It's loud in a fun way. Everybody knows that.
I know, but sometimes it just goes a little over, and I'm like, can we bring it down just a little bit? Like, I don't, you know. So those are the two things that I would say, Eric, on the naked truth.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I thought she was going to say, like, when I go in the bathroom and cut my hair and shave.
Oh, it's a lot of other stuff. But yeah, the hair.
He didn't add. He said two things. You only get two things. You only get two things.
Can I keep going?
Nah, you only get two. You only get two, and it's crazy. But the one thing I love about my wife, man, and a lot of people they probably already know. Kanisha is
Rod, doing sports. Yes. And dominoes.
Yeah. See, Rod, y'all know where I'm coming from. All right, Leslie. Leslie, your name will be entered in the drawing. Yes, one thing that everybody knows about Kanisha is she's a cleany person. When I say a cleany person, Kanisha she's very particular on, you know, things that she want to clean up. Kanisha stuff will be wiped down, but Kanisha, like, I'll clean up here and there. But then the crazy thing is, like, if Kanisha's out the house and I do a little cleanup, Kanisha come in and clean up right behind me. Like, it's not clean to the way she wanted. She wiped stuff down, but you know,
shout out to Janet Johnson.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I mean,
that to me.
You know, the fruit don't fall far from the tree, because every time moms come over here, Kanisha do a deep cleaning in the house. And every time moms come over here, she'll get the broom, start sweeping, start wiping stuff down, get the Windex and start wiping the mirrors down. If y'all see in the backdrop, my mother-in-law made these mirrors back here. And we got some downstairs as well. But she'll come up and clean up every room. Like, And one thing moms do, she can make up a bed. She'll make up a bed
the best bed.
Yeah, she'll make up a bed to where it's like, wow, she got that thing tight. So, when I go, yeah, Sheena, that tissue is funny because now that I'm looking out into the room, I see a tissue laying, and Kanisha had that tissue before we started. I see a tissue laying over there. See, that's what I'm talking about. That tissue, boy, it's crazy. But we didn't had a long ride, man. We didn't had our ups and downs in the marriages, but as time progressed, we have a lot of fun too. And Kanisha knows me well enough. I don't mean no harm when she's talking about being loud and boisterous. I just, it's a lot of things that I get off into.
He gets very passionate.
I'm passionate about some things that I do, like ride. He commented about the sports and dominoes and stuff like that. But that's what we do, man. It's all in fun. I mean, I don't mean no harm by it. That's just me. And Kanisha did always say that I had one of them voices that would like scare people. Because when my daughter was growing up and I used to yell at her mother was like, why are you yelling at her like that? I'm not yelling at her. That's just my voice. I used to scare my daughter. She used to back up and be like, And when Makai was little, he did the same thing. Like I as soon as I opened my voice, Makai would start crying like, son, man, I'm not yelling at you. That's just my deep voice. But like I said, I mean no harm, man. Yeah. But yeah, we got 5 people that have answered the question correctly. I think it was Sheena answered the question correctly. Eric, Megan, Stacy, and Leslie. So y'all's names will be put in the drawing, and we'll go ahead and do that. But I'm gonna take a little pause break, and I'm gonna do the drawing right now. Just bear with me, Makai. Come here real quick, and we're gonna do the drawing live, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Hurry up, son. Y'all hear me talking to my son? He probably think I'm yelling at him. Makai gets irritated when somebody calls his name. Yeah, so if y'all have any more questions, man, we'll answer the questions. If your love story was aired on Lifetime, who would portray you guys? Oh man, that's a good. Go downstairs and get me give me a pen and piece of paper, real quick.
Ooh, I haven't thought about that. Ooh,
that's a good one. Who would portray? Who could portray us?
I don't know.
That's Eric. That's a hard. I had to think you. I don't get stunned on a lot of things, man. But I'm trying to think of who. Perfect, Vaughn. That is perfect. No, I think Shamar Moore and Shamar Moore. King? No, Shamar Moore. Walona's not still alive, is she? No, Walona. Walona.
No, you mean the other one that the girl that you think of.
Sonar Lathan. Sonar Lathan. I would say either Shamar Moore and Sonar Lathan or Vaughn. I agree with you. Shamar Moore and Regina King. That would be a good one. You saying that because of this right here? You're saying that because of that right there? But yeah, I totally agree with that. That's a good one. So I'll post that up there so people will see. But we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that live drawing as soon as my son comes back up here with the piece of paper, and we'll do the drawing. Yeah. Any more questions before we wrap it up and do this live drawing?
Megan had a question, and I think I skipped over it. 3 facts about each other.
3 facts about each other. 3 facts. Kanisha got the best cooking in the world. Kanisha is very emotional. And her son piggybacked on that and said very. Write the names down and just up there and I'll cut them up. And another fact, 3 facts. Oh, Kanisha got the kindest heart in the world, man. I mean, she means well, and a lot of people, I think they, sometimes you take your kindness for weakness. I think, and that's the 3 facts I got about Kanisha.
My 3 facts are Kareem takes a lot of naps. He gets his sleep in. He's not gonna
getting older.
He get his beauty sleep. He loves peanut butter and jelly, and he still eats cereal every night.
And drink my tea.
Yes, and hot tea.
There you go.
And I don't know how many people it was. Is this right?
Eric, Megan, Leslie, Stacy, and Sheena. All right, we're gonna cut this up. She's gonna tear it out, and then we're gonna do the drawing. We're gonna do that real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. We don't want to hold you. We got to eat. So shout out, those lemon pepper wings can't be beat. Period, Sheena. I appreciate that. You know, I'll post that up there. Yeah. So Brandon and Sheena, man, what's on tap? What's the meal for the night?
Our meal buddies.
These are our meal buddies. We gotta eat. So what's on tap?
All right, yeah, we got it. Folding them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, we're gonna fold these up.
Should have let Makai pick.
Makai, come here. All right, we're gonna let our son pick the winner of the contest, and then once we get the winner of the contest, y'all just send us a message of your address, and for the hoodie, just send me what size you need. All right, we're gonna do this live on camera.
It's
just 5 of y'all.
Makeshift.
Makai, give me that thing right there. No, that right there. That tall thing. The glass.
Tall thing. Yes.
All right. Let me see that. Oh, let me make sure. All right, we're gonna do it right here. We're just gonna take that out. I'm just gonna put it in there. Just go in there and reach in here and get the paper. All right, here it is. We're shaking it up. The son coming on camera. He representing that SBD. On Valentine's Day, he got the red. So here we go. Yams and pork chops. All right. All right, just pick go in there and pick the paper. One of the papers in there. Yeah. Just feel for the paper. That's
Oh, okay.
logging on JD.
Oh, okay.
All right, now open it up.
What's so crummy?
Let me see. Makai picked it. Just one person.
One person getting both.
Well, you would, one person get both. Let me see.
Stacy.
Stacy. Oh,
wait.
Stacy, you are the winner. So you're the winner of the hoodie and the boho chic earrings.
Woo, woo.
So just go ahead and text
good.
Kanisha with your size of the hoodie, and we'll get that out to you. So guys, I do want to appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like always, man, keep supporting us. We'll be back, next weekend with another great episode of the Marriage Chronicles. But here you have it, man, the Ksapp's love story. Everybody been eager to hear it. So there it is. And for those that didn't get a chance to look at the live show, I will upload the audio on Wednesday on all my streaming platforms. So if you want to put it in your archives and you want a good love story to listen to, you can go back and listen to it. So once again, man, I appreciate you guys' time. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Marriage Chronicles live with the Ksapps. And I hope everybody is enjoying their Valentine's Day. Salute to all you guys, and we love you. Peace out.